Hey guys, Tay here. What's just as important as a good camera for photography or videos? Lighting. So as you can see laid out in front of me, I've got the supplies that we're going to need for one of the options that I think works just fine, and the lighting that I have set up right now is actually using two of the stands that I've already made. So let's dive into what you need and let's get this started. First and foremost, we're going to need PVC. I bought all these supplies at Home Depot, so I know if you go there, you're going to be able to find whatever you need. Now, for my project, I use 3¼ inch or 3/4 of an inch PVC piping. Now, if you can see from the thickness of the wall of the PVC pipe, I saw a couple different options for this. I found one that was a lot thinner and not as sturdy, but I spent the extra, I think it was 30 cents, and just bought the more sturdier PVC pipe, clearly stating that this can support up to 480 psi. I believe the other one was around 200 or something like that, but for holding up lights, I recommend going with a thicker one. Now, they come in 10-foot increments. What I've got here is I've got 3 pre-cut 2-foot increments, or 2-foot segments, and these are going to be used to raise or lower the light depending on how high you want it. And I've got one, this is going to be a 4-foot segment, just so I can cut it down and show you guys what else you're going to have to do with it. You're going to need some sort of PVC cutter. I also got this at Home Depot. However, this was a little on the expensive side. It's about 11 bucks. If you go to Harbor Freight or any other place, or possibly even checking on the internet, you can probably get a PVC cutter decently priced a lot lower. I recommend a Sharpie, just so you can mark where you got to cut. A ruler for the first initial cuts. After you get the first 2-foot segment, you can use that segment just to cut the next ones without having to mark it. Unless you want to be precise, then I recommend using a tape measure. Most people have these lying. Get an A-clamp. This is a 2-inch A-clamp. They also come in 1-inch, and I believe there's a couple smaller sizes. However, I noticed that the 1-inch to the 2-inch A-clamp was both 99 cents, so just for future proofing, in case I needed something bigger, I went ahead and got the 2-inch clamp just because it's the same price and it still clamps down just the same. You're gonna need some PVC end pieces. You don't really need them, but I use them just to clean up the PVC a little bit. It's not the most professional looking in the first place, but you might as well make it look a little better. Now, I bought, because I made a couple different stands already, I wouldn't have bought a 10-piece bag. Home Depot calls them contractor bags. They just come, like I said, with 10 pieces in it. This is gonna be your Tee connector, so obviously you can connect 2 into the side and 1 going up. And you're gonna need 3 of these for 1 stand. So if you're building only 1 stand, go ahead and get 3 of these. I think they're 50 cents a piece, or the bag was $3.50 to $4, somewhere in that price range. So, either way, you can't really go wrong. Same thing with the Tee connectors. I bought a 10-piece contractor bag of the couplers. These connect 2 end pieces together, so you can stack it or make it however high as you want. And depending on if you want a brace or not, to make a 3rd leg, I bought 2 of these little elbow connectors. I don't personally use them. I use clamp lights on my lights, and they're not really that heavy to begin with, so I don't really find the need to make a 3rd leg, but if you do, you're going to need a couple of these. And obviously, since you're building a light stand, if you don't already have lights, you can pick up these clamp lights at Home Depot. This one was $6, but this is the smaller one. I believe this is about 5 inches. I bought also 2 8.5-inch clamp lights, and those were $8.80. This was $6, and I think there was one bigger. And obviously, I have to get the bulbs as well, but these clamp on just fine, and use the A-clamp, as I'll show you later on, to get these nice and stable. So now that we've got all the parts that we need out of the way, I've got the 4-foot segment that I still have left to cut, and I've got one of my smaller 2-foot segments. So I'm gonna go ahead and line this up with each other, mark where I need to cut it, and I'm gonna go ahead and cut it. Take your PVC cutter, put it on a line, and just clamp it down until it breaks. Now we've got our 5 2-foot segments. We're gonna take 2 of these 2-foot segments, and we're going to go ahead and cut these down as well. You can just set the other 2 foots off to the side. So we're going to take our 2 2-foot segments, and we're going to cut these down into 6 6-inch segments. Right, now we've got 6 6-inch pieces. We're left with 1 1-foot piece. This is actually going to be the center, and I'll show you how to break this down even further. Now you're going to need 3 tree connectors in order to finish making the base. and you've got yourself a base. Take that last foot segment, pressure fit it down, and about an inch up from the tree connector, you're gonna go ahead and cut it down. You'll be left with about 8 inches or so to play with height a little bit more if you want to. You're gonna take your 2-foot segment and a few of the couplers, go ahead and attach them. Again, just pressure fitting them down. And now you've got your 2-foot adjusters. All right, now depending on how high you want it, you can just take any of these connector pieces with the coupler on it, and you can attach it like that. Go ahead, and if you want to up it by another 2 feet, attach it onto there, and you've got yourself a stand. Once to whatever desired height you want to get on your stand, go ahead and take one of your clamp lights, and all depending on how you want to clamp it on there, I'm going to clamp it on sideways, go ahead and just clamp it on. Now, this is a smaller 5-inch one, but even with that, it's still going to fall. The clamps aren't that great, so it's going to slide right off the PVC. So you take that A-clamp you've got, go ahead and strap it down, reinforce it a little bit more, and you've got yourself a little light. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more.